Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and what you're looking at right now, it looks like CoinMarketCap, but it's not CoinMarketCap today. What you're looking at is CoinMarketCap on December 28th of 2013. I was here, I was in this digital asset space when that happened. I've told you many times that the way that I discovered Ripple and XRP was that I was looking at this list right here on CoinMarketCap. It was after a collapse, I believe it was in late 2013, collapse of the market. I was looking at this list, and the market at some point had collapsed, and at that point I said to myself, well, I guess maybe I was wrong. And I literally took everything I had, and I said, everything that I had in digital assets, and I said, well, I guess I was wrong, because this was the first time I had experienced a market collapse. And I said, I guess, maybe I was wrong about this, but I thought it was something. Well, so I took everything and I put it all, I went down this list, and you'll notice how different the list looked back in 2013. I went down this list and I went website by website of all of these. And the only one that made any sense in that list that was not just a digital asset. At the time, they called it a cryptocurrency. They called them all that. The only one that made any sense, and the only one that made any sense in 2013, and when I say made sense, I mean made sense from the perspective of the digital asset, the technology of the digital asset, the team, the company behind the digital asset, the team around the digital asset, the pedigree of the team, what they were doing, that they had a plan. The only one back then that made any sense in these top 10 coins, and the only one that still makes any sense as far as everything that they've been doing and working with regulators and doing all the right things, the smart things, is Ripple and the digital asset XRP. It stood true then. It stands true today. So now let's look at today. Today, we've got XRP right here. Now, there's a funny thing about truth. The truth, people can, for the last two years while I've been doing this channel, all we've heard, oh, XRP's a scam, Ripple's a scam. We've heard all the Bitcoin maxis say all this crap, and it is crap because it's not true. But ultimately, the truth comes out in the wash. One way or another, I'm 46 years old now. One way or another, the truth always comes out in the wash. Sometimes it takes too long. Sometimes it takes way longer than it should. Sometimes it's not fair. Sometimes it's not right that the lies are told as often as they are and they're held out to be the truth. But ultimately, the truth is the truth, and it shows its face. I believe that we are beginning to see the plain, obvious truth right now. Today, we're looking at a market with 257 billion in it. We're looking at a Bitcoin and an Ethereum that are flat to down, and we're looking at an XRP that is at 7.13% up. And the truth is that XRP is the one that's got the real utility. It's the one that's had a team around it since 2013, maybe a little before, that has been working on focusing on a use case. As Brad Garlinghouse has said from day one, no utility, no digital asset worth any real value. They'll eventually go to zero. Now, as I've said before, I believe Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum, are a couple of exceptions to the rule because when they came out, and Bitcoin more specifically, because of that first mover, and that a lot of powerful and big money people have turned that into a, quote, marketed as a store of value, which is all it's worth. So, but ultimately, the one is going to be XRP. And it's very obvious. You're starting to see these. And I'm going to show you what Ripple said in a minute that leads me to believe they knew all this was coming. What I believe you're starting to see is a ramp up in volume. And with that ramp up in volume, you're starting to see a ramp up in price. And I believe that the investing public is about to find this out. And I believe that all of us who hung in here and knew what we were on to for the last couple of years in social media, those of us that have been here and stuck it out, and then some of them that left and they're going to come back and we'll welcome them back. I believe that we are about to be proven 1,000% right. And I believe Ripple told us this at the very beginning of the year. And I'll show you in a second. Let's look at Fiat Leak. It's always exciting to stare at Fiat Leak and watch all of this volume happening. We're at 26 cents. I think we've gotten as high as 27 cents. I don't know if we crossed it or not. Now let's move along here. This is what I tweeted out. Watch out, Bitcoin and Ethereum. It was always XRP, hashtag zero doubt, and then copied Ripple in on it. It's true. It's always been XRP if you've been paying attention and really been honest with yourself. Crypto Burb. Now, this is a Bitcoin maxi, folks. It's literally the first time I have ever brought bullish XRP chart in my entire career. Any XRP fans here, he's showing what he sees as a bullish chart. Let me see if he's reflecting any kind of, no, I don't see any kind of price type thing or anything like that. But then we've got the Joker. Every once in a while, I'll go show you his charts. And here's what he has as his estimated target until June 2020. Now, keep in mind, first of all, I'm not a chart guy. I just show you really just his charts pretty much because I've seen him ride a couple of times. Now, here's what I want you to keep in mind. All of this charting and all these things is just charting markets, you know. But when you start talking about XRP utility, and then you start talking about the speculators that are going to flood in here as a result, once they realize that utility is going to increase the price of XRP over time, then all the bets are off at that point, because then you're going to see what animal spirits really are. And don't forget that. This is where it gets really exciting. This is where we get into uncharted territory where this thing could go anywhere. And we're not even talking about potential price sets, which I think is a very big possibility. The more that I read, watch videos on, and study and hear things behind the scenes, the more I think we might have a price set in our future, in which case, then all the bets are off. Then maybe me and you just party. I'm 46 now. There's not too much partying going on, but I'll do my best. Okay, Brown Melancholy XRP sent me this. And see, this ties in as well. Now you're starting to see MasterCard. This is from Chinu Patel. MasterCard discusses cross-border payments in this case study. I want you to watch this video because what this guy's talking about is how distributed ledger technology it's ready now. And this is important because this is what Ripple has told you. Listen to this.
MasterCard's strategy and vision around DLT is rather simple. DLT is a transformative technology in the industry, and we're very interested to leverage the capabilities of such technology. We've been investing a lot and acquiring some companies in the past around these technologies. Today, we think the technology has matured enough for us to put into production some specific applications. We want to work with our customers, our banking customers, to facilitate cross-border payments, to improve the experience. And we think that distributed ledger technology and blockchain can help with that. What are the key problems that MasterCard is trying to address in the market, and especially in the cross-border payment space? It is about it's about the ability for banks to manage the customer experience, their own customer experience. It's about risk management, liquidity management, and finally it's about information in real time. In this particular use case, Corda has been analyzed, and it's a combination of people, technology, and processes, right? So.
Okay, we won't watch the rest of that, but I wanted you to understand two things. This is MasterCard first. We're talking about getting into cross-border payments. They're using R3. Okay, SBI Holdings owns a portion of R3. I think a portion. They also own a portion of Ripple. And then I want to show you this. And he's telling you that DLT is ready now. And then I want you to look at this. This is remember when MasterCard and Visa were in a bidding war for Ripple partner Earthport. So you know that in a worst case scenario, Ripple and Visa are going to be competing with MasterCard. When you have competitors I had one of my first sales jobs, I was told in sales that when you're selling your product, having competitors is not a bad thing. A lot of people think, oh, if you got competitors, is this a threat to Ripple or whatever? No, having competitors means you have a market. Having competitors is a good thing. If you don't have competitors, it means there's a danger that there's not really a market there. Competitors, that means that there's that game on. We got something going on here. So, but what the other point in this that I wanted to make is this. 2020. So we've got MasterCard here. This is their guy. What was his title? Let me see if it shows me his title. I think they did flash there. VP Product and Innovation at MasterCard. He's telling you distributed ledger technology is ready. And then you've got Ripple when the year came in, 2020, the year of the digital asset. And I remember when I read this, I said to myself, now, why would Ripple come out and say something that bold? Because they know that when they put something like that out, they know that immediately is going to be covered by the XRP community. And we're going to say, wait a minute, the year of the digital asset. And they know these aren't dumb people. They know exactly what they're saying. They know. Now it goes all back to what Brad Garlinghouse said. If a digital asset does not have utility, it will eventually go to zero. So the inverse of that is that if it does have utility, it will go up in price. Is it not? Well, the only reason you would say something this bold is if you know that the volumes you're about to put through this digital asset are going to cause the price to go up, because you know that's a clear message. And this guy knows it too. This is about it. I believe right now we're witnessing volumes, maybe for the first time, increase slowly the price of XRP. And I believe we're witnessing it do this while the prices of other digital assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum stay flat or go down. This is earth-shattering if what I'm saying is correct right now, because what it means for you and me as XRP investors is that it means two things. One, that the volumes, as more corridors are open, are going to cause the price to slowly tick up. But the second thing that it means is that these speculators, that when they finally realize it finally dawns on them, it is game on. It's on like Donkey Kong, like we've never seen before from the speculating public. And that is major exciting. Okay, XRP Crypto Wolf. Ripple's XRP on-demand liquidity corridors hit new all-time highs. And this is what we're talking about. These are all of the different pairings. He's talking about the liquidity corridors hitting all-time highs. This is happening daily now, folks. And then there's this from Ian Northing. He spells it out right here in this tweet. BTC, guys, this is all a show. HODL, that is. Bitcoin, no owner, 1 million Satoshi missing. Ethereum, owner was Stefan Thomas, roommate, Ripple CTO. XRP is Ripple. BCH, one of the XRP, that's Roger Ver, one of the XRP's biggest shareholders. Roger Ver told me in person that he was the third largest XRP. And when I was in Singapore, he told me in person he's the second or third largest XRP holder individual in the world. Okay? BSV, friends with Yoshitaka Katal. Tron, Justin's son worked at Ripple. True story. BNB, Justin's son, and CZ are tight. I'll give you another one. CZ Binance, the CEO of Binance, who put out the BNB token, thought that it was the right move to hire Catherine Coley from Ripple to be the CEO of Binance.us. You think all this is a coincidence? No, it is not. XRP has always been the one, folks. I'll say it again. Okay, then you got Ian Northing also put this out. I had to show it. Just a reminder, 2017 Bitcoin is a fraud. This is Jamie Dimon from JPMorgan. 2018, I regret saying that. 2019, welcome JPM coin. He introduces JPM coin. And then we've got this from XRP Babs. JPMorgan plans to dismiss several hundred workers from its consumer banking division. And this is an article right here where they're talking about, it says, let's see, they're going to cut 1% of their retail workers. Company intends to notify affected employees on February 6th. Now, this hits home with me. I learned early in life, when I was at Morgan Stanley, every so often, Morgan Stanley and all of these investment banks, they would do a round of layoffs. They would hire a round of young guys. Then they would wash them out. They would find the one or two that they were going to let make it based on either working their butts off or because they had friends with money and they had big accounts they were able to bring in. And then they would wash out all the rest. When I was at Morgan Stanley, they did one of these washouts. And I watched as many of my friends got washed out, and luckily I was able to survive the layoffs when they did them. But I saw it happen firsthand, and when I saw it, I made up my mind that because I saw the people that were managing us, I made up my mind that I was going to figure out one day how to work for myself. Because the one thing you learn by working for someone, in my opinion, is that you learn that you could probably, if you really put your mind to it, do it yourself and do it better than they are. I made my mind up early in life. Okay, Cryptopolis put this out. The yield curve, short versus 10-year, is inverted again. And Cryptopolis is actually, he's the official Treasury Secretary of the Digital Asset Investor Channel, and so he knows what he's talking about. All right. He knows what he's talking about before the Digital Asset Investor Channel ever was here, but he knows what he's talking about, and therefore I made him the official Treasury Secretary of the Digital Asset Investor Channel. And then Sergeant Obi-Wan put this out. BitSpark shuts down amid restructuring, coronavirus, and protests. Look at this. Hong Kong-based blockchain remittance startup BitSpark has abruptly announced its closure, citing internal restructuring issues. On February 3rd, their co-founder and CEO George Harrap officially announced the platform's plans to shut down its services on March 4th, 2020, according to the statement. All right. So, folks, you know the drill. And by the way, as I told you yesterday, the Ledger Nano S people, they're having a sale until Valentine's Day. The link's in the description of all my videos. You can go and get a Ledger Nano S, and you can, right now they have if you buy Ledger Nano X, which is the Bluetooth enabled Ledger product, if you buy one of those, you get a Ledger Nano S free. And so they're doing that right now. And finally, let's see what we got. I thought this was cool. Look at this. On this day, 16 years ago, February 4th, 2004, Mark Zuckerberg, a student at Harvard, launches the Facebook. Today, over 2.5 billion people use Facebook, a company with market cap of $591 billion. I believe you will be saying something very similar about Ripple and people like David Schwartz in the very near future. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that you heard it here. Ripple, in my opinion, will be bigger than Facebook. Thanks for listening.